Hi and welcome to another Monsters of Film special episode from us, Bitches of Horror.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about two films that we saw on the Friday and one film that we saw on the Saturday. And we're going to start with What Keeps You Alive. This is from 2018 by Colin Minihan from Canada.
Yeah, and it's about a couple, Jackie and Jules. They are celebrating their 1-year anniversary. And they go to a remote cabin, and then something goes horribly wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, basically, they meet another couple, and then, I don't know how much you can spoil from it, but basically, the woman that she's married to isn't really who she thought she was. Some new information comes up on her, and she's wondering, are they lying, or is this something that's happening? And, this is kind of a, mind game.
Yeah. But I think the story it's pretty good. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Like almost all the way throughout the film. I mean, there were some things with the story that could have been like shortened or like taken out, like the last.
I don't think that's the story.
Minutes,
I think that's just the editing and the script, maybe. But
yeah, the story also, because it has to do with the script and.
It's not the story of the. I don't know. I don't think that's the story, because the main story is fine. I don't think there's any flaws in that, and I don't think that the end has to do with the story. It just has to do with they dragged it out for too long.
But I kind of get why they would do it, because they wanted to kind of make a full circle of the beginning with the end. And
they could have made a full circle without.
Yeah, that. But I can't understand it from a script point of view, like how they wanted to connect that. But still, it could have worked without a lot of the stuff towards the end.
They kind of like repeated the same thing like 4 times, without spoiling anything, but they repeated like the same segment like 4 times, and it's just like, okay, well, we've already seen this. It doesn't add anything new to, the story or the characters. It just, it's just too long. They could have cut out the last part of it, like one part of the 4 parts. I can't remember how many times they did it, but let's say it was 4 parts. They could have cut out one, and it would have been better, because it wouldn't have felt like, oh, this again. It would have just been, they would have closed it on a good note, I think. But in general, I think that this film is really good.
Yeah, it is.
Overall, it has really good acting
and pacing.
Yeah, the pacing and the scenery was really good with the boats and
the boat scene was really good. It was really intense, and they had a lot of scenes which were quite intense.
Yeah,
like when they were meeting the other couple and they were coming over, and you're like, oh.
The husband in that couple, he was fantastic.
He was. I was like, I want to just hang with him and like talk to him.
He's just like, every time something like awkward happens, he's like, so wine, and just like gets a bottle of wine or a glass of wine and starts drinking. It's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah. Except that I hate wine, but otherwise.
Yeah. But as Jasmine said, the acting was really good. I really like Hannah Emily Anderson. She was in Jigsaw. They both were in Jigsaw, actually. Both of the 2 girls, so that was quite funny. But I think they also had very good chemistry as a couple.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just the eyes and like both of their facial expressions were just so on point, like perfect. Just couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
Gore was good. I mean, the effects were really good. Yeah. It's an intense film. Yeah, it is. Not what you would expect. No.
So I will give this an 8 out of 10.
Me too. 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well,
it's a good film. It's just that like one thing. Like otherwise, I thought it was solid throughout.
Yeah,
it's just okay. And then there was that one scene that was like, really, you're gonna do that? And that was it. But overall, a really good film that I really recommend.
Yeah, me too. So let's move on to Cam. From 2018, from the US, by Daniel Goldhaber. And it's starring Madeline Brewer from The Handmaid's Tale and Braid. And Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also stars Patch Darrow from The First Purge and Sully.
Yep, and this is a film about a webcam sex worker. I mean, not really, yeah, but she's a webcam girl who, gives on shows to her fans and on this website that's like for cam girls, and you like get ranked, and basically she wants to be number one. But then there's this one of her followers that kind of he starts harassing, or he, I'm not sure if it's he or she, but starts harassing, and things get out of hand in a very different way. It's not your typical stalker film. It's not really stalker either. I don't know how to explain it, but
it's a bit strange.
It's strange.
It's definitely not what I expected.
No,
I didn't expect a lot. I was like, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the festival organizers was like, "Oh yeah, you got to see Cam. It's really good." And I'm like, "That doesn't really sound really good. It doesn't look that good." But I was pleasantly surprised.
I wasn't that pleasantly surprised.
We were a little bit drunk when we saw this, but
jeez. Like, it would probably be better if I rewatched it maybe, but I was in a bad state, so. And it was so late.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
That was the last
It started at like 1:20 or something. It was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that she's really believable as a cam girl. I think she's a little bit too for my taste.
But she was like one of the few things that I really enjoyed with the film. She was really good, and at least she kept me interested like throughout the film, that I didn't fall asleep or walked out of the theater.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, like, I think she was a little bit too stereotypical, like, girlish, but
I think that fitted the character, kind of.
But I think they could have drawn down a little bit on it and had, like, something else that, like, made her, like, interesting, or a hobby, or something that was like, oh, yeah, this is a thing that she, something that could have made her more likable as a character without the whole, oh my god, this sort of thing. Even if she's like that on cam, I think that behind the cam, she should have been, off cam, she should have been different. I mean, of course, she had like, finally finished, but I kind of wanted her to have a sort of a personality on cam and a slightly different one off cam. But I think she did a very good job acting-wise.
She did.
Like, she was really good.
I think the film started out with a really good scene. Like, it was quite intense.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah,
that
it was
good,
really good start. So I was like, okay, it starts really good, and then I don't know. I think this story-wise, it went kind of not in a direction that I had hoped. I think, and I kind of lost some of my interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it went, I quite like where it went, but I don't think that they closed it in the right way.
Yeah, the ending was probably the thing that I didn't like at all.
It was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I really like the concept of like what happened to the film, but like at the end, it just kind of faded off into nothingness.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of was like, oh well, okay, like. I don't want to say that they had to have like a full on this is what happened, but they kind of had to tie it in a way that made it matter, because it just kind of felt like, oh, it's over now.
Like, huh.
It's just like, that was it. You just shrug your shoulders, and that was probably like, the worst thing about the film was the ending.
Yeah, and it was so disappointing because it started out really good, and then it's just, meh.
I really liked it until the ending. I liked the camera, like, zooms and angles, and the colors in the film are fantastic.
Yeah, the colors are really good, but I had a hard time, like, watching, because it's, like, about webcams and, the lighting from computers and stuff, and that was bothering me so much. But
I think they did it in a better way than, say, for example, like Unfriended or, these other social media types of films.
I think so too. It was definitely more interesting than Unfriended or, what was the other one? Was it Friend Request?
Friend
Is
Request,
it also,
yeah. But I think like they did in Unfriended, I always mix them up. But they kind of mix the screen and not the screen. So, and then I like that. Like, I'm not really into the whole film is on
no.
Skype, What they did that in one film. Was it Unfriended? I don't know. But like I do like it in some films, like The Den, and I think they did it really good in this film as well. They kind of mixed both aspects of screen and not screen. But I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I've had a hard time with my hate during this festival, like except for Mandy.
But there was some hate, but not as much as I would have thought. Actually, I'm surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I think this is a 7 out of 10.
I think I have to rewatch this like in a sober state, but for now, a 4 out of 10.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It was
felt
not
very
that
disappointed.
bad. Really? But you didn't even have any expectations when you went in.
No, I thought it would be really bad, and I don't know which.
Oh my god! I'd love to hear your state after you rewatch it sober though.
Yeah.
Because I quite enjoyed it, but that was me. Yeah. I think one of the other things that kind of bothered me afterthought was the fact that it was a webcam sex show. There's very little sex.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, I might take off my shirt. Oh, oops, a nip slip sort of thing. And it was like, if I'm going to watch a webcam show, you better be shoving shit up, everywhere. Just like, whoop, whoop, ooh, look what I can put in, Sort of, I thought it was a little bit underwhelming on the sex front for what it was. If it was like a chat room, fine, but it was a webcam. Maybe it was a chat room. Was it a chat room? No, it was... Maybe I'm just thinking it was a sex room. Maybe it wasn't. But if it was, then it was underwhelming of sex. I wanted more sex.
People were like asking her to perform like quite
rough
stuff. So
yeah, I kind of wanted more on the sex front, not to like make it sexual anyway, but to like add to the setting, because that kind of took away from it. Anyways, moving on to Braid, which also stars Madeline Brewer.
It does.
It's from 2018 by Mitza Peyron, and from the United States. It also stars Imogen Waterhouse, Scott Cohan, and Sarah Hay. And
so this film is about two wanted criminals or women who decide to rob their childhood best friend, who is kind of a psychotic. Yeah, she lives in a very creepy fantasy world, but in order to get the money from her, they have to like go along with playing a very weird and dangerous game. So, I mean, even the plot is very weird. It really is. Like when...
Yeah, it starts out like with like this drug dealing thing where they kind of... A drug deal gone wrong.
Yeah, and they are in desperate need of money. Like, you can really feel the desperation.
What happened was, that they got a shipment, I guess, for drugs, and then the police came and took it all, and then all of a sudden they had this debt to this...
Yeah, they had to leave, like, in a hurry. Leave everything. And then they go to their childhood best friend. And, we get to know, like, what kind of games they used to play when they were kids. And then this weird game starts. And I was like, what?
It is a weird film. But
it really is.
I don't know. I like this more than I thought I would as well. Like, for what it was, it doesn't feel like my type of film, but I really did enjoy it. And I think that's mostly because of, Madeline Brewer, her psychotic play was really good, I think.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I really like her as an actress. I do. She was really good. But the thing that, I don't know, that bothered me the most probably was the end. Like, the ending.
I agree what you mean. Like, I think that some of the characters did a 180. They just they were like, I can't really explain it without spoiling it, but let's say that someone was really nice and then all of a sudden they just turned really evil, and it's like
without this progression kind of thing that you need.
I get that. I do get that, because that was like really weird. It was like, okay, well, this person is this type of person, and now all of a sudden it's this type of person, but there was no, escalation to it. It just went from 0 to 100.
Yeah. And
I do agree on that, but I do like the originality of it. It's very original.
It is. And it's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like a hallucination, like the whole film almost is a hallucination. It was pretty cool.
I think one of my least favorite things was Sarah Hay. I think her character was her character was not believable. I think in my sense that the skinniest one. I don't know how to explain her, but yeah, I think she I don't know. She didn't really feel like a believable character.
There was something really off with her character. Like, I was so much more interested in the other two.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She just felt like, meh, you know. I mean, she had some good scenes, like at the table. I quite like that.
Yeah.
But I think overall her character was just like, I don't really care what happens to her. Lives or dies or disappears. Who gives a fuck, you know? And that was a bit, like, comparing on how you felt on the other two characters, it was like, yeah, I did like the detective, though. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, I did like him, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did like the flashbacks that we got. And when we saw how they acted when they were children. And that was really...
Yeah, it tied into, like, how they... That did tie into how they were today.
Yeah, so without that, I mean, this would have not worked at all on any level.
Like, why is she like that? What is going on?
And nothing would have been believable. Like, nothing.
Yeah, it was a fun take, and it felt like a child's game.
It did.
Yeah, it was very childlike in a very disturbing way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's like the best way. It kind of felt like a cartoon. You know, like Rugrats, Nickelodeon sort of thing, but just in a very disturbing way.
Yeah.
With a bit of, drug hallucinations. I mean, not drugs in it, but like just hallucinations. It just felt like very woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like artsy stuff, or not artsy, it was an art house, but more like just beautiful lighting and, camera angles and just beautiful works, then this is something that you need to keep an eye out on.
Yeah.
So, definitely check it out if you're into that type of thing. If not, then maybe just check it out for fun, because it is a solid film, I think, in my opinion.
So what do you give?
7 out of 10.
Okay. I will give this a 5 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
You're the hater.
Yeah, I know. I'm Jasmine today.
Now we did a Braid. We just switched characters without any progression.
Oh no, Sarah will go down.
Yeah, but anyways, that was it for this episode.
Yeah.
And the next time we're going to talk about some witchy films. And we're going to have some, boom it off, but it would explode in the last episode with
something really special.
Really special, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it for us today.
Yep.
Don't forget to follow us at Monsters of Film. Try to come next year. There'll probably be an event in February as well for Women in Horror Month.
Yes.
So if you're in Sweden, definitely come.
Yeah. It will be amazing.
Yes. And stay horrific.
Bye.
Bye.